Cousins tore his ACL last week. The team has been granted permission to speak with Dwight Howard, who's currently on the Grizzlies. Chris Broussard, is this a good fit?
I was texting with an executive from one of the teams Dwight played for recently, last few years, and actually put up good numbers for him. And this executive said, no way. He said it's a bad move. Now, I respect this executive greatly, but I don't think it's a bad move. You're getting for the vet minimum. There's low risk, potentially good reward. I think it's like a Carmelo in Houston situation where if he comes in and he acts up or he doesn't fit in for whatever reason, you just get rid of him and cut your losses. But if he comes in and he's a good soldier, he's been humbled, he listens to LeBron and the guys, he's still a rim protector and a great
rebounder. Give you a double-double.
So, yeah, and he's a big body.
Yeah, what that comes down to is him understanding his role. If he comes in with that same attitude he had in his first tour of duty with the Lakers, it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just let him go.
Yeah.
And that's a very different Dwight Howard at this point. On to the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott has been in Cabo for most of his training camp holdout until now. Zeke was reportedly spotted on a flight to Dallas. So, Chris Clancy, do you think a deal gets done before the season?
Yeah, we were just talking about this. I think a deal gets done because Jerry Jones desperately wants to have a winner. Let's face it, he's in the fourth quarter. He wants to have another championship before he's all said and done down there in Dallas. So, yeah, I think this deal gets done.
Now, Clarence Hill, we were talking about him earlier from Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He reported that sources have told him Zeke is expected to go back to Cabo pretty soon. So I don't know what if he had to get some new clothes or whatever. But I'm with you, Chris. I hope it gets done. But like I said, if I'm Jerry Jones, I would go into the season and see how we look without Zeke before I ponied up the biggest contract in the league for a running back. And if I have to at the end of the day, I'll do it.
Rolling the dice. Andrew Luck has been a limited participant in training camp for the Colts this season because of what was reportedly a calf issue. And now the team has also said he has an ankle injury. He looked like he was good during workouts before the Colts preseason game on Saturday. So, Canty, are you concerned about Luck being ready for the regular season?
Yeah, I'm concerned a little bit just because we're talking about an injury that happened in April, and now we're at the end of August, a few weeks away from the regular season. So, yeah, I'm concerned because I know how important Andrew Luck is to that Colts team. That being said, his backup looked damn good on Saturday in Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he's a guy that has experience. I mean, that touchdown that he threw to Eric Ebron, great touch on that ball on that 7 route in the corner of the end zone. So they have a capable backup, but Jacoby Brissett ain't going to take them to where they want to go. They need Andrew Luck.
The fact that people are excited about that, the fact that he could dance around that, whatever that is, that pylon, that has me concerned. Like you said, it's been 6 months. And first it was the calf, now it's the ankle. We know his injury history. Yeah, I'm concerned. I hate to say it. I get it in the regular season. You play through some pain that you wouldn't in the preseason, so I understand that. But with his history, I'm very concerned if I'm the Indianapolis Colts.
Antonio Brown had reportedly found a version of the only helmet he has worn in his NFL career that he believed he could wear. However, the league rejected the new helmet because it did not pass safety certification. So he left training camp after the news. Raiders GM Mike Mayock said it's time for AB to be all in or all out. His agent Drew Rosenhaus responded to those comments.
We've worked very closely with the Raiders, and we will continue to work very closely with the Raiders. I'm not sure that we agree that we've exhausted all the options, as Mike Mayock said, but there's no doubt it's still an ongoing process. We are trying to work with the team and the league and the union to come up with the solution. We haven't figured it out yet. To say that AB is upset about the decision to not let him wear his helmet is accurate, but we're still processing it and figuring it out. I wouldn't make too much about him not being there today as much as we're still trying to come up with a solution that works for everyone.
CB, has AB taken this too far?
Yes. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is childish. I'm not a football player. I didn't wear a helmet, but I mean, there actually been tests done. Peter King from NBC Sports did some tests, and the new helmets, some of them have a better vision than the old one that AB wants to wear. 2,000 players in the NFL, or more than that, they've all accepted the helmet changes. Why can't AB? This is just childish and ridiculous. And I do think it's a big deal that he wasn't at practice. as you can understand, it'd be nice if he was even there, even if he didn't practice, right? Just show that you're still with the guys. Hey, I'm still trying to get this helmet situation worked out, but I'm here, I'm all in. The other reports are bothering me too about being late to meetings, you know, being engaged with your phone or your laptop while you're in the meeting and not really engaged in what's going on.
Yeah, that's a problem for me, right? Because everybody else is at training camp, they're busting their tails, and we get that you can't practice because you got the issue with your feet, but you can still be there. You can still be present. That goes a long way in terms of establishing yourself as a leader because, like it or not, based on what the Raiders decided to pay him in a contract extension, he is in a leadership position. Money talks in the locker room. It just does. And so when you're talking about a relatively young group of players, it would help them if Antonio Brown was there. But, yeah, I would completely disagree with what Drew Rosenhaus said in terms of not making a big deal that he's not in the building.
Antonio Brown, I mean, really over the last decade has been one of the great receivers. You probably look in NFL history. At what point do a lot of these antics or issues start to affect his legacy and what we think of him and his performance on the field?
Well, the numbers don't lie. He's been the most productive receiver over a 6-year span that we've ever seen. I mean, we just haven't seen anybody at this level. Over 100 balls, over 1,000 yards, and you're talking about anywhere from 12 to 15 touchdowns. You can book it. But I think that's why the Oakland Raiders decided they were going to trade for him, because there isn't a question in terms of the productivity you're getting from Antonio Brown. I think they're trying to answer the question on whether or not they got a quarterback. So that remains to be seen. I still think we got a little time before the regular season kicks off. They mend fences. Antonio Brown ends up coming back to the Oakland Raiders because the reality is he has no choice. If he wants to get paid, he's got to come back and play for the Raiders.
Well, look, no matter how great he is, and he is truly great, we've seen this affect other receivers. Randy Moss, you know, who's rebounded and bounced back from that. Terrell Owens, you know, with the whole Hall of Fame situation, that certainly had nothing to do with his play, but it was a perception of him being a troubled guy in the locker room and stuff. So I do think this could hinder Antonio's legacy.
Well, whether he comes back or he doesn't, I don't think that changes. The fact that he was willing to leave an organization that competes for a championship year in, year out, that tells you what it's about for Antonio Brown. It's not about team success. It's about individual success and about him branding himself. So I think in terms of his overall legacy and what people will remember him as, I don't think anybody's going to remember him as a team-first guy, whether he comes back soon or not.
All right, well, on to the Patriots, and big news for Tom Brady over the weekend. Josh Gordon, who played in 10 games with New England last season,